Okay, I know the trend in the community is to do a school story and not a playground story, but most of my school stories can be their own video, so I decided to do this instead. I didn't realize this until I actually tried to make this video, but a lot of random things happen on my school's playground. Like, I remember there was this one time where the school banned running on the playground. To this day, I still don't know why. I guess some kid, ran into a pole or something, I don't know. But randomly, we were all just playing on the playground, and the teacher comes out and she's like, I'm sorry, kids, but have you read the rules lately? Because if you did, you would realize that running is one of them that are prohibited by the law and prosecutable by death. So, having that said, I'm gonna have to ask you two bohemians to stop. And as you can expect from a few third graders, we were pretty mad. What do you mean no running? We're outside, for Christ's sake! This is tyranny! Hypocrisy! Geez, my vocabulary is small. Bad! But there was one thing the teachers forgot to take into account when making that rule. We were silly kids, and silly kids aren't going down without a fight. Coincidentally, at the time, we had also just been learning about the Rosa Parks incident. So I want you to take a wild guess on what we decided to do. That's right, we boycotted recess. And the unfair rules of this prison we call playground bring back running. No, just no pace. No, just no pace. Can't get no, just no pace. No, just no. Looking back on it, I realized how such a silly idea boycotting recess was. The only people negatively affected was us. But you see, our logic was that if we just didn't get all our energy out of recess, we'd have to get it out in the classroom, and eventually all the kids would start bouncing off the walls, and the teachers would realize this, therefore allowing us to run the recess again. I remember that after the recess when running was banned, one of my friends went inside and they made a poster. I don't remember exactly what it said, but it had something to do with letting us run again. And he took that poster, and the next day at recess, him, me, and the rest of our class went parading around the playground together. And we did that for about the 10 of 20 minutes we had at the recess. Then after that, we all decided it'd be a good idea to just hijack the playground in general. So we all collectively went to the top of it and started doing our protest from there. But eventually everyone did get bored of yelling, and also we were making no progress. So we kind of just went up and asked the teachers if we could run instead. Of course, they did still say no, but I guess they liked their efforts because they let us skip. That's exactly what we were going for, but hey, a win is a win. And we took that and ran with it. Well, not ran, we skipped, but you know. Eventually, somehow, the skipping did morph back into running, so you could say our protest worked. The only reason we were also stuck up about the no running rule is because at recess, we all play the game called Infection. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's basically just tag, but if you get tagged, you're also the tagger. So at any time, there could be 2 taggers, or 15. But anyway, that was the only game a lot of us played at recess. I can't see why the teachers were concerned though, because there was a few times where people got hurt playing this game. There was this one time I was a tagger and I was chasing my best friend, but then they stepped on this yellow foam thingy while they were running and they lost their balance. And this was terribly placed, as it was right before I tagged them. And since we were both running when I tagged them, I basically gave them a little push. Whoa! Whoa! Gotcha! Kesa? Hey, buddy, you good? Buddy, are you good? She fell and she banged her face across the ground, chipping her front tooth. You can still see the mark on her tooth today. I still feel really guilty for that to this day. At the beginning, no one had seen her slip. They just all assumed that I pushed her, and that's what caused her to chip her tooth. So low-key, everyone was blaming me, and you can imagine how I took that. But after a little detective work, I was able to prove my innocence. But if it was my fault in this next story, I get my karma anyway. This next story is about 2 years after my last story. Yes, we were still playing Infection. On this day, I think I was having an off day or something, because for some reason, I decided to hide. I'm not really sure why I was hiding. I don't usually get tagged anyway, because I was one of the fastest people there. I'm not sure how neither of us heard him, but one of the taggers had managed to sneak up on us, and by the time we realized he was there, he was only about 2 feet away. So at this point, we had 2 choices. A was to give up and lose what I felt was my dignity by getting tagged. And option B was the less reasonable option of trying to run away. Me and my friend bolted out of there, and somehow we actually managed to get out without getting tagged. Now, this is where I'm going to put a pause in the story and give you a little background information about our playground. Our recess area was this big stone field. The playground took up about a third of that space, and the rest was filled by benches, little basketball hoops, and stuff like that. One of these activities was tetherball, and we had 2 tetherball poles in the open field. By the way, I just want to add that neither of them actually had a tetherball on it. On one of them, some kid smacked it really hard and it ripped off, and the other one just never got a tetherball. So we just had 2 big poles sitting there. While I was running away from this kid, I was running in the direction of one of these poles. Knowing this, I very carefully angled myself in the way where I'd run past the pole instead of hitting it. The reason I did this is because I wanted to check behind me to see if the kid was still there. And miraculously, he wasn't. Somehow, we had actually managed to escape from this kid. I'm not sure how, because I genuinely thought we were done for. But hey, knock on wood. I ended up colliding with the tetherball pole at full speed. And another thing that doesn't make any sense to me is that somehow the only part of my body that got hurt was the right side, even though I drifted to the right side of the pole. But yet again, my pigeon feet caused problems for me. I don't really remember how it felt either, because the entire time I was just covering my face trying not to cry. Because you already know it, everyone came running over to see what the heck happened. That was one of the things I hated the most about it, because you have all these kids running up to you, and you don't even know half of them. Like, who are you? Do you even go to this school? I've literally never seen before. Anyway, it wasn't hurt that bad. Most of the injuries that happened, put that in quotations, weren't really long-lasting things. It was more really short, effects that happened from me hitting the pole. Like, for example, I couldn't feel or lift my leg for a while as a result of hitting the pole. Looking back on it now makes me realize how dramatic it was, because I went inside with the wheelchair and returned with a band-aid. Imagine how that must have looked to the other kids when I walked back into class. There was this other time when we were declared war on the playground. This one wasn't during school, it was during my after-school care. Basically, my friend, I, and a few other 3rd graders declared war on all the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. And by war, I don't mean fight, I mean all of us collectively jumped onto one of their backs until they gave up. Of course, on our side, it was the most fun thing in the world. We could literally just jump on these guys and they couldn't do anything. The other kids, however, they weren't having a great time. Since we were actually actively hurting them, they couldn't really retaliate, and all the teachers just thought we were all playing around. Also because all the attacks were targeted on one person at a time. So from a standpoint view, it really just looked like we were dogpiling on somebody.
We declare!
What the?
We declare! We declare!
But yeah, those are all the stories I can really remember right now. So I guess in conclusion, the playground is bad. If you watched it to the end, first things first, thank you. Welcome to the end card of my very first video. To be honest, I think this video is pretty mid, since I'm really just finding my groove starting this out. Pretty sure you can tell since there's just a big quality jump mid-video. But the next few will have a lot more effort put into it, trust me. So yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want, like even if you don't want to. And go read the book. Get off of YouTube, guys. Come on.